Today is Saturday, July 15th, 2017. I don't know why I'm making a video. I know I need to be making some things, but today I seem like there's tension in the air, almost like an anger. You know, I can't put my finger on it. I know I need to be making these. I know I need to get them prepared because I'm running out of time. You know, I got everything planned for August 16th, 17th, or 18th. You know, well, technically I got things planned that I will be doing on those days and probably committing suicide on late 17th or the 18th flip-flop time frame. I'll probably be early 18th because I wait till mom's asleep and not checking on me. But I know I need to get some of these videos done, so I have something for Cherokee and Andrea and Cody, so they can kind of help them make sense of what has taken place. My brother also let me know that I gotta lay out things so he knows what needs to be done once I'm gone with everything. You know, what he needs to take care of, how he needs to go about getting things done. He knows I'm going to have my own funeral arrangements already pre-made, so I told him I'm going to have everything done so they don't have to think. All they have to do is go off of what I tell them. And that's kind of rough, you know. I know there's something wrong with me. I know I'm sick. Not just mentally, I guess some people would say, but physically. And I know I've been that way for a while. And I'm not going to wait around for the diagnosis. Doctors take too much time and wanting to dilly-dally, crossing their I's and dotting their T's when most people already know that there's something wrong. But kind of figure I'm not going to be a burden on anybody. That if I am sick, then it's a good thing that I leave early, so nobody is taking care of me. I'm not a burden on anybody. So, what should I do? What do I leave? What should my plans be? I really don't want to do anything. Just let you guys have your own thoughts. You know, you're grown. You two are grown adults. You can make up your own mind on what you believe, what you think. But I don't know. You know, I got some things I want to tell you guys, but at the same time, I don't want to really piss you off. But on the other hand, why should I give a fuck if you're pissed off or not? You know, you both made the conscious decision not to have contact with me. Long before anything happened, or supposedly happened, or however you want to put it. I tried to make contact with both of you, just to have it thrown back in my face. Tammy tried to make contact and stay in contact, but only as long as it was on your guys' conditions, you know. You never know when things are going to change, when things will end. When that last conversation you had with somebody was the last conversation. You know, I was there when my dad passed. And I have regrets over it. You know, the last things me and my dad actually said to each other, we were arguing. He didn't want to go to the hospital. But I made him go. He procrastinated. It never occurred to me that that would be our last exchange. Semi-coherent exchange on his part, I guess. But what it's going to be like for you girls, I don't know. You know, I would love to sit here and tell you, oh, I understand why you don't want to talk to me, why you broke off contact, blah, blah, blah. The truth is, I don't. I accept it, yes, but I don't understand it. I mean, I'm not sure what I did to either one of you to make you want to not have contact with me. Cherokee, I understand with you, I challenge what your mother told you was the truth, and how you didn't like having, I guess I could say your reality, what you grew up believing, challenged. And I wish I knew how you truly felt about not having me in your life. And then to think about that, and hopefully you might see or realize that you're doing the same thing to your daughter. You're keeping your daughter away from her father, all because of a disagreement you two had on him not wanting any more children, and you did. No, I remember having the same argument with your mom after you were born. You know, your mom wanted to be a surrogate mother after that. It's not that she wanted to have more kids for herself, she just wanted to keep being pregnant. You know, you sit there and at one point asked me how I felt about Drexen and Miles. Well, let's flip the question around on you. How do you feel about your two stepsons that you left behind? You used to have contact with them? Do you make an effort to be in their lives? Do you still let them know how you feel about them? I tried. Drexen threatened. Miles didn't make contact back. I understand both of that. They were upset. They were entitled to their feelings. And I have no right to impose myself into their lives, just like I should not impose myself into your life, even though you are my children. You know, I've always told you, I've always would be here for you. And all you have to do is let me know. Guess you never wanted me there. Andrea, don't know what the hell is up in your fucking head, girl. You wanted so much to be noticed that you made up so many lies during the divorce and after the divorce, just to make yourself seem damaged, I guess, is what you were shooting for. Why else would you try to make up the story that you were molested, that you were raped? You know, you took things that happened to your sister when she was a child and tried to make them yours. You were telling people that Cody was yours and not your little brother. You were sitting there dating grown men and not wanting anyone to tell you not to. What the hell was wrong with your head? You sat there and you lied in therapy. You made sure that, what did we do to piss you off so badly, to make you turn on us like you did? I don't understand, and I never will, because hell, never will get the chance. And then you turn around and blame me for everything that you have no clue, because you yourself personally chose not to be involved. You chose not to know. It's not like anyone cut you out. You cut us out. So again, what do I tell you guys? I hope you guys find the happiness you're looking for. But be careful. Things are changing. And you guys may not like the way it changes too. You know, Richard says I should write down all these little events that happened in my life, so people would understand why I am the way I am, what makes me me. Why? If you wanted to know me, you had your chance. You had several opportunities. But you chose the route you chose. Every choice has consequences. You can't blame them on others. We must accept responsibility for our own actions. And I'm not saying that we have to broadcast or tell everybody, hey, I did such and such. I'm guilty of such and such. I accept responsibility for such and such. As long as you don't sit there and blame it on somebody else to yourself, and you know that you are accepting responsibility inside yourself, that's a good start. If the people you that have wronged are accessible, next step would be to apologizing to them and make sure that you did wrong them. Because just because some people say what you did was wrong doesn't mean that it's wrong. you know, it doesn't affect the third person. It only affects the two people involved. If you don't understand what I'm saying, what I mean, here's an example. Society says spanking your child is wrong. I don't think so. Or, well, we'll use that one there. Since I'm not sure how I'm putting this video into what, I won't get too specific on certain things. But spanking a child is wrong in society's eyes. And look where that's gotten a lot of kids. Kids aren't afraid of their parents. Parents are afraid of their kids. CPS will be called. Police will be called. Oh, I'll have Child Protective Service involved, which is not a good thing to have done. But still, parents don't have the ability to discipline their children because society says it's wrong. You got to do time out. You got to do this. Well, for some kids, at Drexen, for example, grounding, timeouts don't work. Too stubborn, too bullheaded, don't see consequences. But if you spank your child, you run the risk of getting it taken away. So who's right and who's wrong? It depends on the scenario, the incident. You know, you don't curl up your fist and punch your 2-year-old across the face. You know, you don't sit there and smack your kids around with a 2x4 or knock them downstairs. And you know, there are limits. There's a way to discipline and a way not to. But now it's neither here nor there. I really wish we had the chance to be closer. I wish we could have been as close as me and Tammy were. You know, your sister learned a lot. She knew a lot. If either one of you, or even a quarter of the parent she was, loved your kids a tenth of as much as she loved her child, you guys would be great parents. I never seen anyone that loved their child so much. She gave up everything for him. You know, a lot of us say that they would, you know, but she did. She did what she thought was best. She did what she thought was right. It took her time to learn how to grow a backbone, how to stand up and fight. But she was learning. She learned how to do research. She didn't trust anything the doctor said. She did her own research. She studied up on it. I mean, hours and hours she would be sitting there learning about her son, his condition, options, therapies, you name it. We didn't have much. We had a roof over our head, food in the cupboard. We didn't get to go out to the movies. We didn't have money to go do entertainment. We entertained ourselves, watched TV, played with Helios, had long, deep conversations, studied, learned. We were happy. We were content. We had time to visit her grandparents, my parents, on a weekly basis. So Helios got to see them, they got to see Helios. Dad got so much enjoyment from Helios and from Tammy. Mom got so much enjoyment from Helios and realizes how much Tammy actually did for her. You know? Once they were gone, people around here realized how much those two really impacted everybody's lives around here. Not just mom and dad's, but a lot of the residents here. You know, mom and dad would sit out front when they knew we were coming and fight to who got to kiss and hug Helios first, who got the baby first. You two missed out on two very, very unique and special people that you had the opportunity to have in your lives, and you chose not to. I am so sorry for you two on what you've missed. See those two together, you know there's love. That boy always was smiling. 99% of the time he was smiling, he was happy. Had our daily routines to keep him bouncing off the walls and always in a good mood. Videos we would have him dance to. Marine Corps marches he would try to walk to. At least during the summer times, 3 times a week he'd be in the pool, swimming, floating. Poor little water baby. Child wanted for nothing. His mother, only thing she wanted was a better relationship with her sisters. And it's my fault she didn't have it, because you two can't stand me for whatever reasons. Cherokee, you never really even gave me a chance. Not once did you ever really give me a chance. Never once did you listen truly to my side and take it. Go ask your mom some of the things that I told you. You know, compare it. Ask your brothers. You know. But that doesn't matter anymore. And Andrea, like I said, who the hell knows what the fuck is going on in your head? Cherokee, I can understand to a certain degree. You know, I kind of figured when she grew up that curiosity on who her dad was and stuff like that would kick in, and I would get an opportunity. So I was comfortable with the thought of, as long as she knows that I'm here if she wants me, she'll get curious. Never happened. Andrea, you knew me. And maybe that's why you stayed with your mom. You know, you knew living with me and your sister, you'd be under some strict rules. Just as your sister was. Just as you were when I was home. Who knows what you were promised, who knows what you were told to get you to act and do what you did. I'm very disappointed in you. And I apologize on how that's going to make you feel, knowing that I die disappointed in you. You know you could talk to me about anything. Yes, you're going to have to suffer the repercussions on what you tell me, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think and how I feel. But that's because you're a grown-up, you're an adult, you should be able to stand hearing it. I don't care about your guys' feelings. I'll tell you the truth. But no, you just want to not hear anything. Fuck it, he's gone. I can do what I want. Carmen from South Park. Yep, do what I want. I'm a woman, there's no consequences for me. And what consequences are going to be? You have no one to blame but yourselves. As soon as either one of you turned 18, you both had the opportunity to make contact, despite of what your mothers would have said, if they ever set those rules that you couldn't have contact with me. Only you guys know that. And if they didn't make those rules, then the only person you can blame is yourself. And that's it. You can't blame me, because I've always tried to be there. Hell, your sisters told you that I was always here. know, so you guys don't have the excuse that a lot of other kids have to say, well, whose fathers weren't there? Well, my dad didn't want to be around. My dad didn't do this. My dad didn't want to know me. No, your father did. He wanted nothing more than to know you guys, to talk to you guys, to be with you guys. You didn't want him there. That is on you. Like I said, today it just feels like an angry day. Don't know why. But you girls missed out on some huge opportunities of knowing where you came from, why you guys might be like the reason you are. You missed out on knowing your sister better and knowing your nephew at all. Andrea, at least you got to meet him once. I don't understand your guys' thinking. You know, I've had spats with my brother where we haven't talked, where I've said things that's devastated him, tore him up over your mom, Cherokee. You know, I told my brother, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't have a brother anymore because of your mother. Him trying to keep me away from her. But we always made up in the end. Now, I'm so glad Richard's here, helping me go through this. Me knowing that I can die and be able to trust him to take on, where just a year ago I wouldn't have felt like that. A year ago I would be more scared than I am. But this isn't my brother. It's a lot like him, but it's not him. And that was confirmed even more yesterday. And I hate to say it, I prefer this brother over my real one. This one here is more understanding, more empathetic, more awake. Which would be a good question. I wonder how awake you two girls are. Or even if you are awake. The power that you two potentially could have had. People that would have shown you how to untap it, access it, are gone. Cherokee, your mother had an idea. Don't know how far she ever took you. Know how far your Uncle Adam went. Yeah, but you don't believe that shit either, so what's the point? All it would take is a trip down to the courthouse there in San Jose, or hell, even or probably an internet search. I wonder. I'm going to pause this. Well, actually, you'll end it, but I want to do a search real fast.